Nico Zwirs, I'm very happy to have you here at the ChessBase studio in Hamburg. What are you doing in Hamburg right now?
Yeah, thanks. Nice to be here. It's always a pleasure to be here at ChessBase. Right now, I just came from a tournament in the Czech Republic in Teplice, and I just thought that it would be nice to go to Hamburg before I go back to Amsterdam to do some recordings.
It's on the way, basically.
more or less, but it's halfway. Let's put it like that.
You have recorded lots of Fritz trainers and even more 60-minute videos. So I was wondering, because that's rather rare, how come more 60 minutes than the Fritz trainers? Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, actually there is. The Fritz trainers take a long and a big amount of work, and I'm also still a very active chess player myself. So normally I pick topics which I played a couple of times, I like, but I don't want to repeat that often because I don't want to be predictable in tournament games. But then normally the ideas are a little bit smaller. So if I make a Fritz trainer, it's like a bigger subject. So I need to do some more work. It's more of a practical reason than there's like a philosophy behind it.
Let's talk about your chess life, because I'm just curious. I want to know a little bit about you, how you came to chess and all of that. From what I have read, you were born in Apeldoorn in the Netherlands. Now, from the pictures I was looking at Google, there is a beautiful palace there. Do you know, what is the story about that? Do you know anything?
Yeah, I know. That's, in the Netherlands we say Paleis het Loo. And yeah, it's just a palace from the royal family. It's not like directly connected to our current king, but I think the former queen, it's one of her sisters who is living there. And the past, like how long the palace exists, I have no clue, but well.
How was it growing up in Apeldoorn?
Actually good, like it's a relatively small city, still bigger for Dutch terms, like 150,000 people living there. But yeah, we lived very close to the city center, like 5 minutes by bike, close to all the schools. So, well, my first 18 years, I really had a great time in Apeldoorn. And still my parents live in the same house I was born or raised. So it always feels coming home when I go there.
Nice. What were your parents working at that time, if I may ask?
Well, actually still more or less the same as I do right now. So my father is an engineer. He's doing the climate inside of buildings, like the heater, like the airco, all that kind of stuff. And my mom is working in the hospital, but she's, how do you say it? When there are interns, she is like, answering all the emails, questions, bringing them to the right places. So that's her job.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have one brother, also a chess player. So.
Yeah. So older brother, younger brother?
Younger.
A younger one. Okay. How many years apart?
I'm 3 years older than him.
I see. So was there any chess rivalry between you and your brother at one point? Or was it like a very constructive working together? Or both?
Well, I think in general it was both. Like we did, not only in chess, we did a lot of things together in our childhood. But of course always there was some kind of a rivalry, like, okay, I'm the older brother and then in some things I'm good, and okay, then he wants to beat me, so there was a bit of competition.
But who was teaching you how to play chess?
Well, I learned the rules by my mother. She taught me when I was 8 years old, and then relatively quickly afterwards I discovered that on my primary school there were chess lessons on Tuesday evening, so at some point I started to take part in those lessons. Yeah, somehow I was good, and when you're 8 years old and good at something, you like it very quickly. So that's basically how I got into it.
Nice. So you gained some successes. You won against most of the players. And was this the only motivation, or was there something else which fascinated you about chess in particular?
Well, I could definitely play a lot of chess, so I definitely really liked it when I was younger, and still, obviously. So I think just basically like, all the options which are out there, and nowadays I would even say that like, okay, in games you also see personalities of your opponent and also of yourself, so it's a very good mirror of life.
So can you recall when you won your very first tournament?
Actually, I can't.
But at what age do you think was it?
I think 9.
Oh, so really early, actually.
Not like big tournament, but maybe like a very small one, maybe even later. Only when in school competitions, my school did pretty well, but individually, I had less success at the start.
So you gained traction by working harder, or were you just a bit like gifted by like understanding chess a bit more? Where did you get your chess power from?
I think in general I started relatively late. So I learned the rules at 8, but I only got into a chess club when I was 12. So there's a lot of time in between, basically my primary school. But I think it's a lot of hard work. Also, of course, there's much talent, but I'm gifted. But I think that the work, is in the end the main thing, or my main strength.
So now I'm also very curious. How can I imagine your working on chess was? You probably got coaches at one point too? Or was that at a later time? How did it start?
Even at a later stage. I think I was 15 when I had my first coach. So I basically got myself to more or less 2100, and then I started with coaches. And I also think it's mainly like curiosity in the game and good memory, being able to learn some things, and also a bit being competitive.
You read any chess books at that time?
I have to say not many, but the first opening book I started with was it's actually a very bad one to start with, but it's the NCO, the Nun's Chess Openings, but it's literally like a book with only moves. Then in the end you have like the evaluation, but almost no text. But I picked just my openings which I wanted to play and literally learned it, just all by heart.
Wow.
But, that's how it started.
But okay, so not that many chess books, no coaches yet, but from the age you reached 2100. So your curiosity, was that the only thing? That's a surprise to me. Or how
I think it's that combined with like playing a lot, at least online. I think definitely a lot of playing. Also, I had some group sessions around, of course, as well, and like we had a group from my primary school, and also later on the chess club, the same guys were more or less at the same level. Even would dare to say that the others were a little bit above me, and it was also a drive for me to try and catch them up at some point. That's the combination of curiosity, competitiveness, and
if that works, and apparently it does, that's fantastic. When was the first time you got in contact with the ChessBase software?
That's, I think, 5 years. The software, not like I want to answer recording for ChessBase. Now the software, I think it was also when I was about 15 years old. So I played my first Dutch Youth Championship. And then I got coached by Marijn van Delft. So he had like, he also lived like for a long time in Hamburg. We actually, now he's also living in Amsterdam just like me. We have been flatmates for quite a while. So we know each other pretty good. But back in the day, we had like a very strong group of players from Apeldoorn. So basically it was Marijn as the older coach, combined with, let's say, 8 players from Apeldoorn and the region who were competing at the Dutch Youth Championship. And yeah, I was one of them. So that was how I got in touch with ChessBase.
So that more or less means that at the age of 15, around this age, maybe a year more or less, that was already, it seems to me, it was already clear to you, chess is going to be that one of the most important things in your life, right? Were you ever considering to say like, okay, that's enough of the chess stuff, now I'm doing something else, like, I don't know.
Well, a good thing. Actually, I studied as well. So it was not always chess. I always thought I was pretty good, but for a long time I didn't really felt that I was good enough to fully go for it. Then at some point I decided like, okay, I'm curious, so I want to see like how far can I still reach. And so far I'm still on my journey. But I see myself doing something else at a certain point, but right now, yeah, chess is just what I really, really like, and yeah, I just keep going on with it.
So what were you studying?
I studied applied physics in Enschede, so another Dutch city, close to the German border as well.
Yeah. And you stopped at that one point when you felt like, now I'm jumping on the chess train, or did you complete?
No, at some point I quit. Then it still took me about almost a year before I decided to go fully into chess. So I already quit, I changed my studies, and then I even got back to it. So I had an adventure, but it wasn't a very successful one. So I definitely gave myself some time before I really decided to go full-time on in chess.
And at that time, did you already live in Amsterdam, or were you just about to move there then?
Well, basically the point when I moved to Amsterdam was also when I started to become a chess professional. And then playing is not my profession. I earn some money with it, but clearly not enough. So I'm mainly teaching, and sometimes I'm coming here to record some stuff at the ChessBase studio, or there are also some other jobs in the chess world which I took or have been offered. So,
yeah, this is an interesting question, which I'm discovering the more people I interview, because there's some chess players who are like, I'm going to every tournament there is almost, or I'm playing in every league there is, or there are people who are streamers, Anna Kramling, Hikaru Nakamura, and there are people who are concentrating on coaching much more, and some have it as a hobby, like Luke McShane. What kind of chess player would you consider yourself?
Okay, I think I'm definitely the player. I think as long as I still believe that I can get better and I'm very competitive, I really like it a lot, and that's like my main aim. But okay, as a profession, I'm like the coach, and I think I'm also pretty good at coaching. I definitely see people making good progress both on and off the chessboard, and that also helps me to be sometimes objective to my own chess. So I think I can be also honest to myself and try to be the coach of myself as well.
That's helpful.
So, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I like coaching. I think I am the player, but I'm also a great coach. So yeah, I think it's. But at some point, maybe I will become the coach. Maybe not only in chess, but become a coach and won't be the player. But yeah.
Sure. Let me think. What was I just thought about the next question. Also, I have something in my throat the whole day, but that doesn't matter. Ah, yeah. When did you gain your first title, though?
More or less at the same moment when I decided to go full-time in chess, which was the international master title. I never, I could have asked for the FIDE master title, but I never did.
Oh, skipped it like a class.
Yeah, I just wanted to go straight for the international master title. Still, I don't completely know if I think back on it, why I did it, but it's just what I did.
But when you got the IM title, was this something where you go like, okay, finally I got this in my pocket, or was it just a natural thing on your chess path?
No, it was definitely just a natural thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I crossed 2400 already 3 years before that point, but I never scored my norms. So then I finally scored my last norm, and okay, I felt like, okay, I'm already at that level, but I have to make those norms. And besides, okay, it was becoming an IM wasn't the reason I went full-time in on chess. I would have done it in any case. When I decided to go full-time in on chess, one of the goals could also already be to become a grandmaster. So
that would move right into my next question, because I mean, you're knocking on the 2500 ELO door a couple of times already. And I'm not even sure, maybe you know better, your life rating, was it ever passing the 2500 at one point?
No.
My God, it's just like 7 points or something maximum, or
maximum was 4 points.
4 points.
I've been on 96, 95, 94. But okay, I mean, it's part of the journey.
Yeah.
And I have the feeling that I'm stronger than the last time when I reached 24 high. So my personal feeling is that I will cross it, and it's not the aim to get 2500 once and become a grandmaster.
I see.
The original question which I asked to myself was like, how good can I become? And the sub question is it grandmaster? But it can also be like 2550 or maybe even higher. So right now I'm still trying to, or I hope I can achieve that. But when I started, it could also have been the case that 2450 was the maximum. And okay, that's also the answer on the question. And now I don't know the answer, so I'm still trying to push and see if, I can upgrade the answer.
That is super interesting, and we have to put a pin in this because I will ask you about this too. Now, about the Grandmaster title, what is missing? Is it only crossing the 2500? Did you fulfill all norms, or?
I need to score one norm.
Okay.
I have 2 norms right now, but the last norm needs to be made in an open tournament. That's a new rule after Abhimanyu Mishra became a grandmaster. Because he scored his norms in Hungary in the closed tournaments, and okay, people are saying like, yeah, maybe it's a bit shady to in those places, but still, I think like it was COVID times, there were no tournaments, so it's very clear to me that the only way to get the title is just to go there, and also afterwards, he definitely showed that he's worth it. So I think that's fully justified. But okay, on the other hand, it's also much more difficult, I think, in open tournaments nowadays to score a norm. So it can make some sense to make this rule.
Let us talk about your journey, because that sounds very interesting to me. So you're trying to push your limits to see how good a chess player can you be. How do you know you will ever notice?
Good question. I mean, I also asked this question to myself. Okay, I think there is like a time span where you can, be your best chess player, and I also think that, it doesn't make sense to keep on pushing for maybe more than 10 years. Because I'm already doing it for 5 years, and I will definitely keep on pushing a bit, but at some point I will already know the limits. Like, let's say at some point I get let's say 25-30. Then yeah, is it a big difference for me if I have 25-30 or 25-40? I don't think there's like a big difference if I keep on pushing. Okay, the difference maybe between that and 2600 is quite significant. But yeah, at some point I think you will, or I will know my limits, and then the question is answered. And well, then I get some new questions, like what am I going to do next? But
exactly, yeah, that would have been my follow-up question. Yeah. So you probably thought about this too a little bit.
I did. Yeah, maybe I'm just good in popping up with questions. So maybe I should take your job in 5 years.
You're more than welcome. We can do this together as well.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll be a good team, I think. Yeah. No, but okay. The answer is that it depends a bit on the chess. Like if I can become much stronger, let's say maybe it would be interesting for me or for someone to have me, let's say, as a second or something like that. So the better I become, the more doors will open. That's one option. Yeah. The other option is that I will just, well, be a coach like I am right now, and I do more coaching and less playing. And the last option is just to leave the professional chess world and do something completely else. But yeah, I still don't know the answer. But yeah, we'll see at some point what it will bring to me.
Is being a chess player, professional chess player, is it hard?
I think as a player it is hard, but okay, I'm not a player, so you should ask somebody else. But living professional in the chess world, I think it's not. Like for me, okay, so for a couple of years right now I have a girlfriend, and we met with online dating, with one of the dating apps. But I had on my profile something like, my life is like a full-time holiday. And sometimes she is still like mocking a bit with me about this. But I still definitely agree on it. Like, okay, I wake up on the time I want to. I don't have to be somewhere at 9 a.m. in the morning every day and go home at 5. I like what I do, so it doesn't feel like I'm working. So, for example, last night I was preparing the videos I'm going to record today, and I ended at 12 at midnight. Okay, sometimes it's a bit tough, but it doesn't really feel like I'm working. It's just doing what I like and love, and yeah, I make at least enough money to have a decent living. Yeah, so then for me the key ingredients to have a good life are there. So yeah, I'm not
fantastic.
Yeah.
I think it's rather rare, actually. So a very, very nice answer, in my opinion, to have so much joy in this thing you're professional at. Like the old Pixar saying goes, like if you love something, what you have to do professionally or for a living, then it's, as you say, a holiday for most of the time.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, but that cannot be everything. What else than chess are you doing? What are your hobbies? What are your crazy things you're doing? I mean, as if chess isn't crazy enough, but you know what I mean.
That's a good question. Like, okay, I also think I shifted a bit in other interests. Like in the past, I had more interest than I have right now. Like now, I think since I started to like chess more, I'm really putting in more and more hours than at the start. So when I started, I was not really scared, but I asked myself the question, like, what if I don't like chess at a certain point? But that didn't happen, so that was quite nice. So now it's a lot about chess, but I also like sports, for example, or I read many books like about health or entrepreneurship and different kind of things.
Now I need to ask first, which kind of sports?
Okay, I played tennis and football in the past.
Mhm.
Now it would more be like just fitness or just for general, yeah,
So you
healthy.
take care of yourself anyway. What that like you're doing sports, you love the chess thing, and you're reading books about health and entrepreneurship. Which kind of books, if I may ask? You can name a couple of authors. I like to read those books too.
Good question. Phew. Actually, it's quite a while ago right now, so there's not really one which is popping up immediately to
Fair
me.
enough.
But it's a bit of the combination of books. Okay, I have to be honest, I don't read that many books, so I prefer other information sources, also in chess. I'm more like a video guy. That's also why I'm recording stuff instead of writing a chess book. But also in health and sports, I basically met two people who are very important for me at this this aspect. One is a guy who is organizing sport holidays in Spain. It's a Danish guy, and I've been a volunteer at his training camp for almost 3 weeks many years ago. And this guy is really interesting. It's also like a bit of a maniac in just in life. You never understand exactly who he is, what he's doing. He's a bit of a mysterious guy, and also his clients confirm this. But he really knows a lot about it. So he likes to do it just with regular people, but he also got asked from the Danish sports federation to train with Olympic Danish athletes. So he really did it on an extremely high level.
Wow.
But he also likes to go just
Do his thing, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. So a bit the same as basically that's what I want. But then as chess, if I do coaching, to do it on all levels. So that's one guy, and the other guy is actually a German guy. His name is Sven Voetbol. And he's maybe a little bit known in the chess circuit in Bremen, because I once played a tournament in Bremen, and then, he had the opportunity to stay at his place. So I stayed there for 1 week, and I learned a lot of things because he published some articles and stuff about health and even about re-aging your body. So it's very interesting, and now it's even getting more popular, and especially at the start of because this was also in the pandemic. At the pandemic, he got like a lot of questions for interviews and all that kind of stuff. But it was also just a very, very kind man. So I stayed 1 week for the tournament. Then I even stayed 1 more week because Wonder was placed, and to teach his children some chess, also to give some lessons from there online. But yeah, it was also nice. So I'd like to learn from, I think, more from people and experiences or videos than from books.
I have 2 to 3 more questions, and then we are done with this interview. So now I want to follow up on what I was kind of asking earlier, but that was about the question, when did you first discover the ChessBase software? Now, when did you first discover ChessBase to make your Fritz trainer, though?
Yeah, that's 5 years ago right now. So then my friend Roland Pruisers, also a Dutch chess player, grandmaster from Apeldoorn, he picked, he got in touch with ChessBase, and they came up with the idea to make an open Sicilian repertoire for white. But it was really like a lot of work, so he asked me if I could help him out, and it was basically the first time I got in touch with, let's say, the ChessBase studio.
And ChessBase itself, what is one of your absolute favorite features of the software?
Yeah, actually, I think it will be the cloud engines.
Okay, yeah, that's
Like
helpful.
I think I mainly need two features. Then I'm happy, and that's the online database and the cloud engine. So I just well can prepare for my games or even lessons.
And one last question: what advice can you give? Because you're coaching a lot too. You have a couple of students as well, which you're helping online, I assume, because it's just like the way how to deal with it. But which is the lesson, or which is the advice you can give to every chess player, which would make great impact?
Okay, actually, I have two pieces.
Go for it,
Two
yeah.
pieces of advice. The first one is do what you like. Also play what you like. So if people are saying you should play this or that, but just stick to what really you like. What makes you enjoy chess. If you like complicated positions, don't try to exchange and win in the end game. Just do what you like. That's one. And then the second one, it's actually because one of my students told me. So, and he told me like a year later, like, hey, you told me this, and this was in the beginning, the lesson you taught me, which for me was the most worthy lesson, and that's the following. So, in chess games, you have to defend your pieces, and I said like, the cheaper the piece, the cheaper piece should do the dirty work. So, for example, if you have an end game, very often you have, let's say, a pawn, and you have a rook end game, and your rook is protecting the pawn. And then very often it's a good idea to, let's say, bring your king, because the king is weaker than your rook. So then you can reactivate your rook, or if you can protect something with your pawn, just protect it with your pawn. And I think this is what he told me, and later on I even repeated it a couple of times after him telling me this. So I think that's the nicest one I can share right now.
Fantastic. Nico, thank you so much for taking your time for this. It was a pleasure. I wish you all the best for the future.
Yeah, thank you.